computer. Okay, we are recording. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Donnie. How are you?
I'm just great. It's so great to have you here. And we're so excited about getting some information. And, you know, we've had a lot of changes in the structure, as everyone knows, in the Brotherhood. And we thought this would be a great occasion to kind of, you know, talk about it and in little chunks, not too long. We're hoping to keep the videos 10-ish minutes or so and just keep on answering people's questions. So without further ado, I thought we'd just get right to it without a lot of stuff.
Okay.
So the big question I think people are asking is, can you tell us how this decision to break away from PRC came about? Some of the history, what led up to it?
Okay. You know, that is the big question. And it's a little bit complicated. I'm going to try not to ramble too much, or it's not complicated. It's just there's sort of different things to consider. So, you know, over time, you know, PRC has grown into a much different organization than when we originally started out. The calendar has been a fundraiser for AEF pretty much since day one. But AEF was a much smaller organization, and PRC sort of has grown and you know, through mergers and taken on new programs and serving new communities and all that stuff. And you know, honestly, that's great. I don't have anything but praise to sing for PRC, and especially for Brett. One of my contacts at PRC said that Brett just wants to help as many people as he can, and clearly he's, you know, making that into a reality. So, you know, so kudos to Brett for growing the organization. But having said that, we are sort of on a little bit different track. Sorry, Tucker, stop. So anyway, we're sort of on slightly different tracks in terms of where we're headed. You know, BCC, I think, has always been sort of a grassroots community-based organization. We make most of our money on our knees in bars, right? I mean, that's sort of our space that we live in. And again, PRC has tried to bring in a lot more money now, and supporting a lot more people. And they're doing that. You know, I looked at the impact report. I don't know if anybody really looks at that, but I look at the impact report, and they get like 80% of their funding from government programs, and I think it's 5% from big sponsors, corporate sponsors, and you know, then it's like 1% from us, from programs like us. So I mean, their model has shifted, and it's been a great partnership. But I think we sort of, both organizations, realized that it was time to step back and look at how we could do things a little bit differently. Sorry, I'm thinking. The sort of the impetus, I guess, for why it happened, when it happened, is really that it's that Cal left PRC, and I wrote a little bit about that in one of the posts. And there's a little bit of a timeline of how all this unfolded, but again, so I'm going to speak from my experience. I think everyone's probably had a different experience as a calendar man, right? But from my experience coming in, I started in 2018, part of team 2019, and you know, the merger I think was already in place, but it wasn't really solidified yet. I mean, the pieces were still moving, and we were still at the old office at Grace Street, and you know, Dimitri and Cal were there, and in terms of, you know, understanding the roots of the program, understanding the value of the program, being connected to the communities, I think both Dimitri and Cal had really strong ties in that area. And so, you know, over the course of time, Dimitri left, and that sort of left Cal pretty much as our sole voice within PRC, again, for the, you know, the leather and kink communities, and to really kind of understand where we came from. I mean, Brett certainly understands that, but again, Brett's looking at a much bigger picture. So the people that took over the program after Cal left didn't have those same deep ties. And so I think that was the impetus really to look into becoming an independent organization. It had been talked about honestly for years, and nobody really thought we could do it, for one, and there wasn't a strong driving force. But basically, by becoming an independent organization, we take a little more control over our future and ensure that the people that are making decisions are, again, people that are knowledgeable about the community, connected to the community. PRC's, again, going in a slightly different direction in terms of where their funding's coming from and the audience they need to, maintain good relations with, right? So again, the cool thing about this, it's sort of the best of both worlds, I think, for PRC. We're going to continue to raise money for PRC, at least for the short term, right? So we're operating as an independent organization that allows us to, again, to embrace our roots, but the money that we raise is still going to go to PRC in the short term. So.
Well, good, because that brings up that other question we wanted to ask about where's the money going? Now you said, so the money is still going to PRC in the short term.
Yes. So what happened? So again, we went through this process over around a year to actually separate, and we have an agreement with PRC, and basically the agreement says that for the first. So for this year, so we separated effective 9/1. So for this year, all the money that we make is going to go to PRC. For next year, all the money that we make continues to go to PRC. And then after that, for the following 4 years, there's sort of a sliding scale where the percentages go down. And at the end, I think we're at 50%. That minimum of 50% would go to PRC. So again, we have this good relationship with PRC. And they're providing storage space for us, and they're really supportive in terms of anything we need in terms of becoming an independent organization, either advice or actual help. So anyway, go ahead.
So just to make that super clear, so the separation was effective September 1st of last year.
Correct.
Okay. And so for that year, where of course you said, as you said, 100% of the money is going to PRC normal. Nothing's changed then. And then for now we're in, the year is always confusing because it's 2022, but it's team 2023. That's always throws me off. So correct. For this year, calendar year 2022, January to December, it's all going to PRC as normal.
Yes.
And so starting in a year from now is when that sliding scale starts?
Yes. Yeah. So for, team 2024, or if you want to look at it as, starting January of 2023, that puts us in it's really our second full year independent from PRC. And that's when the sliding scale starts. I think I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I think we go to like 67%. Mm-hmm. And again, these are minimums. So again, this is going to kind of be sort of a little free ranging here, but the way the organization works, we have a board of directors, and the board of directors determines where the money goes, where the money that we raise goes. And, so it's up to the board. We could get to 2023, team 2024, and the board could decide that we still want to continue to give 100% of our funds to PRC, and that's completely fine. Again, the contract that we have with PRC sets up a minimum level of support that we're going to give to PRC, and again, it's certainly beneficial to them from a dollar perspective, but it's also really beneficial to us because we want to maintain those close ties, and they're being really really helpful in terms of getting us set up and started, and it's a very amicable split. So.
Oh, good. All right, great. Well, I see we've reached about 10 minutes. I didn't want to have this go too long. There are other questions. I know we're not done yet. So I know our plan is to answer some more questions. I think in future, maybe the next time we can talk more about the organization of the new BCC and people's roles and how it all works and how things fit in, talk about the board, all those things, a lot of things to talk about.
Great.
Okay, good. Well, I think we'll end it here. So we have some good ideas about why we made this decision and where the money's going. And as usual, brothers, if you have still more follow-up questions about this, just post them on the alumni page, or you can send me those questions directly to me on Facebook, and we'll work them in. Okay, Larry, thank you so much for your time.
All right. Thanks, Donnie.
Okay, turn off the recording.